ladies and gentlemen and outsiders of all ages, it is game week. That means you get 3 times the chance mock. Your dreams have come true. Santa got your letter. It's the outsiders 3 times a week, game week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 p.m. Let's get going because there's a game to talk about on Saturday. We introduce him to you once again. Your upper left is the quarterback Chance Mock. Almost looks like he colored that beard this week. I don't know what we got. No, is that not what's happening?
Maybe no, it's just glorious.
Just soap, just washed himself. That's good. Upper right, that is Jason Dick, radio legend at Jason Dick AF to find out exactly where. He's all over the place. Your lower left is Beau Edge. He is the country gorilla ready to smash the Rice Owls no matter how smart they are. And your bottom right is the voice of the people. He's the one that you want to befriend in the chat in this glorious situation because that's how you get heard. The super chat's another good way to get heard. That is Chris Abbott at I am Chris Abbott on Twitter. Chance is at Chance Mock. Beau at Beau Edge. I am Chad Hastings at C Hastings OBL. Thank you for joining us tonight on Orangebloods Live. Thank you for subscribing and liking the channel and checking out the shows and all of that. This is the first game week edition. So we are jumping right into it. Fellas, unfortunately, we have to jump into it tonight with a little bit of bad former Longhorn news, but I think we can dig into this and what it is. Before we get to the game, we need to say a special what up to Colt McCoy, because if people don't know, The Outsiders is brought to you by Poncho Outdoors. The question is, where is Colt driving now? We thought he was going to a deer lease. We thought he was driving to a hunting lodge or a fishing spot, but gentlemen, he might be driving to a new NFL location because the Arizona Cardinals announced today that they're releasing Colt McCoy. Chris, let me start with you. You're the voice of the fan. What did you think when you heard that Colt was getting let go?
Man, it hurt my heart. I love that guy. He's great. He comes to me at the dealership and buys trucks from me. He's one of my favorite people. Obviously, I'd love for him to come to Dallas, but that's not happening with the Trey Lance trade. But hey, maybe the Bucs. They need a quarterback, in my opinion.
The Bucs might be interesting. I don't know if Baker Mayfield would agree with that choice, but that could be interesting. Hey, as a Cowboys fan, I had that thought of like, ooh, maybe they should have waited just a tick on that Trey Lance thing.
24 hours later.
Yeah, Jason Dick, what do you think?
Chad, the first person I thought of when I saw that Colt McCoy was cut was you. Because I've never seen anybody have the exuberance, the excitement that you get when you see Colt McCoy out there fishing or when he's riding the ATV there. And so I was like, I hope that Chad is going to be Colt's going to be fine. All right. Colt's had a long career in the NFL. He's going to be fine. But I was just like, I hope Chad Hastings is okay. But you know what? You've never been excited to see him. You don't get all excited when you see him in an Arizona Cardinals uniform, only in that Poncho's gear.
I know. Well, yeah, because he doesn't look as good in that uniform as he does in the poncho, as he does in the Bandera or the Del Rio, pulling that phone out of the secret pocket. He looks way cooler doing that. Beau Edge, this clearly to me is a move where an NFL team is saying to all of us, yes, you're all right. We are officially tanking.
Oh, no doubt. But the home, they're obviously taking. They just signed Josh Dobbs off the waiver wire to plug into this spot. The other guy is a rookie from Houston. Like, no, they have no intention of winning at all. They're going to take all those first-round picks the Texans gave them, and they're going to get Caleb Williams next year. That's why Kyler's coming back early. He's playing for his next gig. But the real home for Colt McCoy is Nashville. It's the Tennessee Titans. Where else would Colt fit any better than in Tennessee blue? Love you, blue.
Yeah, let me guess. And Chance Mock, you want him to throw someone through a table, don't you?
Well, number one, he needs to. Okay, so let's rewind this back to the Trey Lance deal. We as Buffalo Bills fans might have just lucked out on that deal because word on the street was we were hot in that hunt, and it just so happened that Dallas offered 1 round higher draft pick in the trade than being in the Buffalo Bills did. Okay, so we're in the market. I know we got Kyle Allen, and that's wonderful. I know we got Matt Barkley. That's wonderful. I can't have 2 Allens in my quarterback room, okay? Aggie or not,
Let's remove him from the scene. Colt McCoy, you can ice fish up there, bro. You got all sorts of stuff to do in the land of the BFLO. So bring him to the Bills. Let's go.
Wow. I think, there's a lot of different ideas. One idea I've heard I kind of like today was maybe who is Kirk Cousins' backup? Because in Minnesota, the land of 1,000 lakes, 10,000 lakes, 500,000 lakes, whatever it is, that man can wear a lot of cool poncho gear and go fishing, go hunting, go find. How about that right there? You get a little camo coat up in Minnesota. Go call up Brian Robinson and say, let's go get us something. Come on now.
Chad, you're just mad because I have him going to Tennessee to displace Aggie Ryan Tannehill. Like, that's the only reason you're pitching Minnesota and Chance's pitching. You're just mad that Colt McCoy is going to go break the Aggies' heart one more time before he retires and go to Tennessee and get Ryan Tannehill cut. Or maybe that's just my heart wanting that to happen.
Okay, it may or may not be true that anytime I hear the name McCoy next to the name Tannehill, I get nervous and I get freaked out. And I think Justin Tucker's going to hit a kick. That might be true, okay? But we don't need to go through those feelings tonight. I'm just trying to find Colt a suitable home. And, by the way, how about this little insider info coming in on a chat? Paul says he lives in Arizona. Word is the elbow's a little messed up. Had a hard time throwing the ball over 5 yards. Look at that. Paul with an insider opinion. What do we think? Anybody buying that?
I think it's exactly what I just told y'all. There's nothing that gets leaked out, spread out, unless they want it to, right? This is the biggest tank job. We freaking know exactly what this is. It's a bullshit tank job by the Cardinals. And the fact of the matter is they're trying to justify it, and they're going to have little drip, drip, rip leaks as to why it happened.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that's exactly – you'll know in the next, let's say, 10 days, if Colt McCoy's on another roster, then nobody believes any of the crap about he can't throw it 5 yards or any of that. If Colt's viable, somebody's picking him up because there's nobody more valuable to have as your backup than Colt McCoy.
By the way, just a weird chat because it's the Outsiders. Buckwild Longhorn, good afternoon, Chad. Good afternoon. I'm buying a car right now. All right, Buckwild Longhorn, you go ahead. Buckwild Longhorn, the leader of our truck driving brigade. In the afternoon, apparently he's out driving cars, buying cars, and driving trucks all night long. Stay safe out there, Buckwild Longhorn. Everybody that is not in the chat, get on in. Throw us a super chat if you like. We do enjoy those chats that feel a little bigger with those super chats. We'll get right to them if you want to. There's a lot of good chats coming in. Let's see. We got a little Colt love coming in since we're talking Colt. JD Hack says Colt McCoy is the human is the epitome of what you think of when you think of a Texan. And I mean the state, not the team. All right. Fair enough. I'd say he's a little bit of both. He is that. Maybe that's why I get excited about him in the, in the poncho gear. Colby, is it true? Caleb said he's not 100% entering the draft after this season, and it depends on who has the number one pick. Oh, a Caleb Williams question. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, Caleb's not coming out and taking the money.
He said last week that he was not positive that he would come out. I mean, I think it's a leverage play depending on who gets the number one overall pick. But I do think the day is coming with college because the NIL money is so good that they don't have to go pro, their first opportunity.
Well, there's lots of stories out there right now. Think about it. There's players right now making more money this year on their NIL money than Joe Burrow's base contract. Joe Burrow, like the man, in his third year in the NFL, and there's college players making more than him because he's still in his rookie base contract.
Man, that's a crazy thought. that is a wild thought right there. It is the Outsiders on this Monday night. We're almost up to 100 in the live lounge area, whatever it is, to enjoy.
What would you call it, Jason?
Jump on in. What is it?
I don't know. Do I have a name for it?
The YouTube machine?
Oh, yeah.
In the YouTube machine. I thought it was going to end up being like, there's 100 folks in the Dick Lounge. Oh, easy.
Trying to keep the kids in the car. They're coming home from practices and doing those kind of things.
Probably don't want to do that. People got to get used to the fact that we're here Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. We appreciate you doing it. Spread the word. Tell whoever you need to tell. And, of course, Texas and Rice is Saturday afternoon at 2:30. I just want to clarify one thing real quick with our guy Chance Mock. Chance, did you go on Twitter to promote this show by saying it's Chance Mock days until the game? Like, that's for us to do. You don't get to third person yourself, do you?
I absolutely do. Anytime you put me on the YouTube machine, I get to do whatever I want to do. That's the way it works.
You can't.
At least that's what I'm told.
You can't go Bijan and have a, just be a little bit.
No,
not about you, little Terrell Brown, maybe. No.
I think Bijan and his Dijon have enough all about them. Okay, can I just have my 5 minutes?
All right, you're just looking for 5.
5.
That's what you need. 5. We are 5 days away from this game. A lot of excitement out there. We will get into the depth chart or lack thereof. I just want to get y'all's general thoughts on this game. We'll get into kind of what you're looking for a little bit later on. But Chris, start me off. Voice of the fan. You've been waiting for this. We are now 5 days away. How excited are you to watch this team get out there and hit Rice?
Oh, this is great. This is the time of the year. I mean, school's back in. Hopefully we start getting some cool weather, and it's football season. I don't care who they're playing. I'm just excited to see the Horns. I'm excited to see what they look like in their uniforms, the new Nike, everything about it. I'm a uniform guy. I want to see it. I don't care who they roll out there. I just want to see my Horns. I want to see them ready to go. And, I mean, it's exciting. This is a definitely exciting time of year.
Yeah, it's going to be. And by the way, you just reminded us, we do need to be spreading the word throughout the week. The hydration is key. Wednesday, we'll do what are you drinking? So tonight on a Monday, I think we just need to get, what is your hydration plan on Saturday? Jason, Dick, for those that are hydrating, I need everybody's chat tonight to just start with water, comma, something, and then whatever you're going to go with. But we're talking, you're the one that's been on this 2:30 kick and how much you hate it. But the people are going to have to live with this in the stadium, man. It's going to be a burner.
I'm not much of a religious man, but I've been praying for a cold front every day this week. And yeah, I would suggest, I don't know, just like starting on Thursday, get an IV. Just get an IV on Thursday, get an IV on Friday, and bring a couple with you to the tailgate Saturday morning, because it's going to be a nightmare out there.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. Please take care of yourself. How about a super chat? Paul, $4.99. By the way, Chance, as a Cardinals fan, I'm all in on the tank.
Hey, I'm not mad at you. If I was a Cardinals fan, and bless your heart for being one, but if I was, I'd be all in on the tank too. After what you've been watching for the past couple of years, I mean, no offense to Cliff, but I mean, Lord have mercy. It's been like the highs. It's almost been like Texas football. Like, all right, we're back. We got J.J. Watt. We got DeAndre Hopkins. We picked them out of the Texans. And then we got Kyler Murray. And we got all this stuff going on. And then it's like, wah. And that's how it's been. So if I'm a Cardinals fan, I'm like, hell yeah, let's tank it. Let's go get a guy and let's use these picks that we accrued. And let's go build our team. We'll just start all over.
Yeah, it is the Outsiders on this Monday. We are just getting cranked up. We're going to get into the depth chart, or the fact that there was no depth chart. Today, in my estimation, was the death of the depth chart. We will get to that in just a second. But first, Beau's going to tell you a little bit about HBT Designs. What's up, Beau?
All right, guys. HBT Designs, brand new company, but it's a merge of guys from multiple ends of the spectrum when it comes to concrete, landscaping, irrigation, residential concrete coatings. They can kind of handle all of that and bring it into one shiny package. They can do the flat work, i.e. the pouring of the concrete. Anything you need to do with concrete or residential landscaping or irrigation, HBT Designs is where you go. Bruce Blair and his partners. You can contact them at 512-589-6150.
And thanks to everybody who's going to scan those codes. Those QR codes are going to pop up for you. You scan that code, find out more about these great sponsors we have. Thank you to HBT Designs for being a part of it this week. Texas and Rice coming up on Saturday. Let's get another quick chat in before we get into that conversation. JR says Chance Mock and Adam Dunn are two Longhorn quarterbacks that I wish could have seen more of in burnt orange.
Well, unfortunately, I have some good connections with Adam, and there may be a chance that he might be one of our Outsiders Wednesday, what you drinking Wednesday fun guys. So stay tuned for that. You might get a little Chance Mock, Adam Dunn together. Fun little fact. Yeah. My dad actually lives in Adam Dunn's old house.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. Would Adam Dunn partake of a beverage on a Wednesday night? Do you know him
I,
well enough to answer that question?
I don't know that there's ever been a night he wouldn't partake in one, to be honest with you.
Only on days that end in Y. All
When,
right.
when you hit 35 bombs and strike out 300 times, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want.
You do exactly
Right.
whatever you want. One other quick one here. We'll jump back into Texas. The Cardinals don't deserve Colt McCoy. Sal, I think I agree with you. And I am in a way, I hope he finds a good home on a team I can actually maybe root for. All right. So Colt McCoy did get cut today. We thought we would mention that. Be on the lookout for where Colt ends up. But also check out ponchooutdoors.com for all that cool gear that we show you Colt in. All right, fellas, the depth chart was not released today. To me, today was the death of the depth chart because Nick Saban didn't throw one out. He always does, and he did not. And between Texas and Texas A&M, we had 87 pages of game notes, no depth charts. Chris, we're the media types that get really weird and nerdy about this. Give me the fan thought, though. Do you care? Depth chart, no depth chart? Does it matter to you on a Monday?
It really doesn't matter to me. Over the last 10, 12 years, every single year we've had this depth chart. And it's Bijan or Roshan or so-and-so or so-and-so. And it's there's never really a one and a two. It's always the or, right? The and the or. So in my opinion, there's no really reason for the depth chart. At this point in time, I want to see guys on the field. I don't care where they're listed on some list. It means nothing to me. I want to see guys go out there and perform on the field. I want to see guys get excited to play football. I want to see guys go out there and play Texas football and not worry about a list. It's always about the list. And quite honestly, as the fan, I'm tired of the list. I don't want to see anymore. I just want to see guys ball out.
Boy, Mac Brown really did mess with you guys when it came to those ors, didn't he? Jason Dick, tell me about this. Do you care about depth charts?
From an outsider's perspective, that's what we are, right? I think for the most part, we care about one position. And at that position, we know who's going to start. We care who is listed number 2. I know you guys are pretty convinced that it's going to be Malik Murphy there. I guess there's some, there's still some decisions to be made in the defensive backfield. But for the most part, I would say no. In terms of fans, it's not that big of a deal, particularly when we know who the starting quarterback is.
Beau, Jason just spoke to it. Why is it that Sark is so excited to tell us that he knows his starting quarterback, but then later when asked about backup quarterback or who's going to be the running back, that he wanted to keep secret? Why is some of it great news to let out and some of it's not? I'm lost.
Well, I think it plays into NIL plays a big part in this because the depth chart, and Chance, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but there's an ego to the depth chart. There's an ego to having your name listed as starter 1 at whatever position, or at least on the 2 deep. Nobody doesn't want to be on the 2 deep. And now in this world of NIL and people getting all butthurt if, they're disparaged or goes to Instagram or whatever, Sark and Saban and others are saying, wait, why don't we put out a chart that's just going to piss somebody off? It doesn't do any good because when you show up to the stadium, you get you'll have it. So why put it out there if it risks alienating one young man who's already a malcontent and hurting a locker room, or that guy transferring out in October and making it look like something's wrong to the other recruits? I think it's strategy.
Chance, what do you think?
I think a couple things. I think the depth chart, like you said, Chad, depth chart's been dead for a long time. It's a bunch of bullshit. They put people on a list and it's going to bounce around anyway. But here's the real deal. In college sports, the depth chart has absolutely no bearing on what you're going to do in the game day. It's a piece of paper. It's not like the NFL where you're having to declare who's been receiving treatment, who missed practice because of an injury, who's active for today, who's inactive. That stuff doesn't happen in college. So you can play as many little mind games as you want. You can play mind games with your own players, have them sitting there working. You heard Roy. Roy talked about it. He came in, BJ was number 1, and he was like, I want to be number 1. So when you mess with that depth chart, what are you doing? You're getting those juices flowing. And it works on the other way too when you got these guys that maybe you're trying to push. And he's like, hey, I'm DB1, but not on the depth chart because we're not releasing one yet, right? So you're pushing on both ends. You've got these younger guys that are fighting. You've got the older guys that are fighting. So it's a way to play mind games, not only with your opponent, but with your own players.
Okay, but 5, the game is Saturday. This is the Monday before the game. Are you really saying there's enough mind games and hurt feelings that you can't tell everybody who the 11 are going to be that run out? Like they know, right? There is a depth chart. It exists in the locker room, and they know. What's the big deal if I know? What's the big deal if they tell Chris Abbott and the fans who the first 11 guys out on the field are going to be against Rice? Why is that such a big deal?
Because I don't think it matters. It's Rice. And
it's the first snap of a football game. Of course it matters.
And guess what?
11 guys. What do you mean?
That, hey, but remember this. I think you'll have a depth chart before Saturday. I really do. I think they'll roll one out, no big deal, as if it's nothing. That's what I think will happen. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Jason, I know you're biting at the chops.
Well, does it matter in this regard, guys? And I don't know if you guys have heard anything about this. We're in the wild, wild west still of name, image, likeness deals. And so none of those things are really public. But there have got to be some of those deals that are contingent on a guy getting in the game. So if you know that your guy is, it loses out on a name, image, likeness deal, if he's somehow not the starter, even if he's going to play a lot and be a contributor, is that a reason why they might be keeping the depth chart under wraps?
Oof, that sounds like a weird NIL deal.
Well,
Beau, I don't want to know.
Well, I mean, aren't they all weird right now?
No, it's a good point, but that's are you making an NIL deal, Beau, based on starting or playing time?
But there may be contingencies. That's what Jason's talking about. Like if you start, you get 50 grand. If you don't, you get 10 grand or whatever is worked into those deals that they're cutting on their own. I don't think the coaches are going to be doing the players the favor of doing that to help them get paid, but I wouldn't put it past them for a particular player. Hey coach, I won't try to transfer if I can just make enough money here and graduate and move on. I'm telling you, the NIL money plays a factor into everything, including guys not releasing depth charts.
Okay, Chris, you got to help me here. You got to really help me because that guy with the NIL deal, he knows today whether he's going out there first. So if his NIL deal has a starting clause in it and he knows he's not starting, okay, order the burger and not the steak. I'm trying to figure out why can't Sark tell me today?
Well, the better question is, Chad, as a fan, why do you need the depth chart before they're on the field? What does the depth chart do for you as a fan? If Jimbo Fisher didn't release a depth chart, is that going to change your view of the Aggies for the season?
For the season, no, but it's added information, and it is information we at least I enjoy as a fan. I like to know these things going into the game. Right. It's kind of fun.
Well, and I think if you take the Nick Saban side of this, I think Saban does things just specifically to upset the media so they don't have these things to talk about. And maybe that's, maybe Sark took a page out of his playbook. You know what I mean? I don't know. Could it be the NIL? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a pretty harsh NIL deal to me for a college kid. If he ain't starting, he's getting less cash, vice versa. But
here, let me be clear. I don't believe that it's in a contract or anything that he gets this amount if he starts. But let's just say these are all hypotheticals. And for the record, we know these players are setting up their own deals, and it's definitely not Sark and a bunch of bad guys who are winking at the different, name, image, likeness opportunities for certain guys. But if the depth chart comes out and a guy who, if you're a business, have put a lot of money into to get him onto the 40 acres, you see him at second or third string, it just irks this donor, booster, whatever you're going to call them, unnecessarily. When come Saturday, they're going to see their guy on the field a lot. Okay, but they just perhaps, and I don't know if Sark would even take these things into consideration, but perhaps 5 days before the game, they don't need those guys to see their players that they have supported, halfway down the depth chart.
I can tell we're to game week because Jason just used the word irk. I mean, that's when things are getting serious. Things are getting serious when we're going.
I can't wait to be irked by the 103-degree temperatures at kickoff. That's gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say
me.
The heat combined with what may happen in games coming up. You're gonna go more than irked. You're not gonna use that word.
So irked.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole different deal. Remember to get in on the chat if you like. And shout out to the great folks at Specs who do the now. Blake, help me out here. This is, inside football, but we had the Specs sponsoring the chat during the shows during the day. Is that not true of the Outsiders? Are they like waiting to see if they want to do? Yes, it is. It's true that they're not on here. Okay. So they're like waiting.
Specs wants to see an Orangebloods live depth chart before they decide whether or not they're going to spend the money at night.
Okay, no, I'm told they're in.
Where are the Outsiders in the hierarchy?
I just want to make sure. I've been calling it the Specs chat line. I just want to make sure we still do that. Okay, so on the Specs chat line, let me just give some credit to Chris and tell him how dare you. Why is the Aggie the best thing on a Longhorn channel? You know what, Chris? There's no need. There's no need for that. I appreciate what you're trying to do there, but there's no need. This one says whiskey on the rocks. Because Chad cares. You're right. Because what are the rocks? Ice. And what is that? It's water, right? Water. And
whiskey
that's what
still
need.
Might be a questionable beverage choice for Saturday morning. Just be careful
whiskey,
out there, boys.
Right. Be careful if you're going whiskey on the rocks on Saturday. Please be careful. Our man Sal's back in. FNYC Sports Talk. You guys are freaking awesome. Sal, thank you so much. And our man Blake wants to know, do we need an Outsiders P chart? We might need an Outsiders P chart.
I can see right now, Beau Edge, bad teammate. Bad teammate, Beau Edge.
That was a terrible teammate.
Is that bad? No. Yeah, that's.
Did you say P chart or P test?
Jason doesn't get the P test.
I'm trying to protect Jason's civil liberties here, man.
Thank you.
Yes, neither one. We don't need either one of those things. So, as Chance mentioned, there have been years where the depth chart was released afternoon on Monday. That didn't happen because we're all the way to 9 o'clock hour now. Still haven't seen one. So the other thing to look for is we've had seasons where it's Thursday afternoon or whatever. So we'll see if there's a depth chart. The reason I say it's dead is that Saban apparently Saban putting out the depth chart on Monday is what they set their clock by in Tuscaloosa, and he stopped it this year. So it's officially dead. I think depth charts are done. Those of us that love them, we need to just move on because apparently it doesn't exist anymore. We'll see if the Longhorns get one out before the Rice game. There was also an indication from Sark today when he was asked a question about specifics from Anwar Richardson of Orangebloods that Thursday would be a day. So that's another maybe place to look. Thursday would be the day when he determines backup quarterback. Jason, you referenced that earlier. I don't know if we really know that answer. Chris, I'll start with you. What does your gut tell you? Let me give you the best version. It's 38-3 in the third quarter, and the next quarterback's coming in to take the snap. Do you think it's Malik or do you think it's Arch?
I think it's Malik. I think it's Malik for sure. I think Arch. I think we talked about this last week, and Chance mentioned this. I think that Arch is redshirting. In my opinion, I know there's some leeway in these games, but in that third quarter, I think the next guy in the game is Malik for sure. I think as the fans, we want to see that guy. He's got a ton of hype behind him. He's an exciting player. And at the end of the day, he's been there 2 years now. So I firmly believe it's Malik. I think Arch, he may get some time, but it's not right after Quinn if it's 38-3 in the third.
Jason, what's your gut tell you?
No, I agree that I think it will for sure be Malik coming in next. But I do believe if the game plays out as we are hoping and anticipating, that Arch Manning will play in this game and a couple games. He can play 4 games and still redshirt, which, by the way, why are we so intent on saving Arch Manning's redshirt year? Just in case in 2029 he's still here as a 5th-year redshirt senior. He's going to be in the NFL, man, okay? He's going to be here for 3 years, and that's it. So, yeah, whether he gets a redshirt this year, I don't know. Who cares?
2029. That's a long way away.
Did I do the math right? Maybe not. Maybe.
I think the Manning family cares because I think that's one of the main reasons Manning is here on the Texas campus is because there was a handshake deal or a wink and a nod or whatever that Arch was going to get a year under Sark to learn how to play the position, not at basically 2A Texas high school football at Isidore Newman in New Orleans. Like, they wanted him to come in and get his reps with a real QB coach like Sark. I don't think anybody on that family side wants him on that field. Yeah, he can come in and take a snap in the end of the fourth quarter and drop to a knee and wave as everybody yells all loud. They don't want him throwing, at least not in week 1. Like I said in the prior show, if it's week 10 and they're on the cusp of something and they think Arch is the best fit to win a Big 12 title, then yeah, he comes in. They don't care about the red shirt. But right now, week 1, no.
Chance, you've been in this situation on both sides of it, all sides of it. In terms of that next guy, that it means something about who takes that next snap. For you, should it be Malik?
I think it has to be Malik. I think Malik has played well enough that he's earned the opportunity. Now, here's going to be the interesting thing, and this is part of why I don't know that Arch is going to play this week. I don't think he's going to see meaningful snaps. I do agree with Beau. Knowing the Mannings, I think part of the reason he came here was that ability to grow up a little bit, and he needs it. He's done well in the fall camp, spring camp. You saw what it is. He'll get limited reps, but here's what they don't want. What they don't want is to have Ewers go out there on Saturday and do well, and then all of a sudden now you've got Malik in there, and he's going against the second team, and he's just dropping dimes, and all of a sudden now you've got a quarterback controversy. You've got everybody and their dog wanting to see Malik play. That's what they don't want. So the thing is, I think they jump out early, and then I think Malik gets a chance to throw the ball a little bit, but it's going to be a very, very conservative. I don't see them letting him open it up and pull a 60-yard run out for a touchdown and then throw a 60-yard touchdown bomb. I think that creates a real problem early in the season that they don't want.
All right, and remember, we got some special stuff coming up for you as the game gets closer, all kinds of cool stuff. New show this week on Orangebloods Live. We're expanding the Outsiders like we talked about, and somebody's even trying to change my wardrobe. That is coming up, but right now, Chance Mock is going to talk about something we know he can pronounce, and that is United Rentals.
Yeah, I can pronounce that one. United Rentals, look, which is the largest rental company in the globe, okay? We're in Australia, we're in Ireland, we're in Scotland, we're in North and South America. We do a lot of work, okay? They got great equipment, and they got multiple divisions. They can take instruction from the beginning to the end. Don't outsource too much money, okay? Rent it from them. You know the equipment's taken care of. They've got trench safety. They've got the fluid solutions. They've got reliable on-site solutions, as well as their gen rent and tools division. It is a phenomenal company. Over 33,000 employees. It's the biggest on the block. And oh, by the way, we're also the largest dealer of used equipment in the nation. So if you're looking to buy or rent the equipment for your job, United Rentals has it.
And thank you to that person or persons that scan the QR code. We appreciate United Rentals. And that pronunciation reference we make is to that tequila that Chance is talking about and will be talking about on Wednesday night show on a What Are You Drinking Wednesday. Remember, Wednesdays at 9, Thursdays at 9, and then right here Monday nights at 9. We'll be talking about everything that's going on. If there are games going on Monday night, Thursday night, we may fill you in on what's going on there. But don't worry, we're 9 to 10. Games will be ending after the show. So we'll just be right in there for you, like that halftime, third quarter, little lull. We're going to fill that for you here with the Outsiders. Also, speaking of somebody trying to change my wardrobe, apparently it's this guy, Paul. Chad, begrudgingly, you've grown on all us Longhorns. Now we got to convince you to wear burnt orange during the Rice game with Catch. I'm not sure if you're going to get there, Paul, but we are going to do the Orangebloods watch along, myself and Jeff Ketchum, like the two old guys in the Muppets, just watching a Longhorn game and reacting. So be sure to be here at Orangebloods Live. Just have it on in the background. 2:20. We'll go 10 minutes before kickoff for Rice. Also, be sure to check out the new morning show, 6:30. They'll crank it up in the morning with Travis and Aaron and Nash. They got started today, so we got 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. You got Anwar at 8. You got Catching Myself 12 to 3. 3:30 to 5:30 is Football with Friends and Alex Dunlap. And you got the Outsiders late night for you. So we're covering every bit of the clock. And we remind you one more time, that chat line is brought to you by Specs, Wine, Spirits, and Finer Foods. Drink, chat responsibly. Definitely chat. You don't have to chat as responsibly, but definitely drink responsibly. And please get hydrated for this week's game. Water, and whatever you're drinking and more water. Mix that in. All right, so lots of, there's a lot of angles on this game. Lots of chats coming in. We appreciate you doing that. If you want to tell us about what you're going to be drinking, that's cool. You want to get us a game prediction, score prediction. That's kind of one of those things that'll happen throughout the week. Also, as we get closer to the game, we'll be breaking things down a little differently. Now, Chance, give me a quick preview here. On Thursday nights, as we're getting closer to games, you're going to be breaking down the opponent for everybody? Are you in there watching film and crushing that? or are you just doing, whiskey on the rocks and some tequila and guessing? What are we going to be doing?
Well, I think the X's and O's breakdown is fine. I think I'm going to stick to having my tequilino and enjoying that. And
there you go.
There you go. See? And the damn QR code. Christ.
Go to the back room to get a tequilino.
You got to pay double for that? Is that what you're saying? Got to pay
Brings
double.
a whole new definition to on the rocks.
Oh
yeah. But look, I think the main thing that we do on this show that's great is we explore the opposing view than what's being pumped out by the university, right? We've talked about how much there's nothing leaked that they don't want out. And there's also nothing that they don't want to get out that does. That's just the way it works. And so I think that's one of the fun things about us on Thursdays. We'll be able to break down the game from a different angle, which is why you tune into the Outsiders and why you get your El Tequilino.
That's right. No doubt about it. All right. So there's a lot of different things that you've already heard if you've been watching the Outsiders. Cool stories from Chance. Great guest. We had Roy Williams on last week. Do we have a Wednesday guest locked down, Chance Mock?
We got two of them that I'm jockeying between. I'm going to see which one likes me more.
Okay. Fair enough. Down to two. We'll see who gets the victory there.
Put it this way. They're both 5 stars.
Okay, 2 5-star. Nothing wrong with that. Trying to decide between 2 5-stars. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right. So as we head towards the game, let me get all your thoughts on something you want to see in this Rice game, what you want to see take place, whatever that may be. Maybe it's an individual player. Maybe it's a certain thing in the game. Chris, let me start with you. What do you want to see out of your Longhorns in this Rice game?
I want to see them come out and on the offensive side, I want to see him push Rice around a little bit, establish that running game, and really just kind of bury the game into that. And on the other side of the ball, I want to see the defensive line just completely take over this bunch, which, in my opinion, they should. It should be a game where Texas dominates both lines of scrimmage, get to see a few different running backs, and, that's what I'm looking for. I don't need to see a high-flying showdown, anything like that. I just want to see Texas come out. They're the bigger, the stronger, the more talented team, and just push Rice around. That's what I'd like to see.
That's not a bad start, because if you can't block and tackle Rice, you ain't going to do it in T-Town. That's a good place to start. Jason, what do you think?
The unfortunate reality, I guess, of being Texas and playing Rice is there's not going to be anything that will impress the nation, if you will. Only the opposite. Like, only if you beat Rice 56-36 or something like that, then you're going to have the haters parachute in saying that's it. You let Rice score 36 on you. So basically refusing them the opportunity to do that, I think, would be great. Also, just for my own personal preference, can we make this a quick one, guys? I keep harping on it, but it's going to be 100-something degrees at 2:30. Can we just have this thing? Can we have this thing sealed away by 3:15? Like a good 28-0 first quarter would be great for me. Thank you.
The request can be heard. I don't know if they're going to listen to you. I definitely don't know if those TV networks are going to listen to you. They love their commercials. Beau Edge, what are you looking for? I know today in the presser, Sark was asked about different things, what he saw in college football, and he was looking at it from the coaching perspective. What are you looking for? Because whether we like it or not, fans always play the math ahead to the biggest game. So you're going to be thinking about Tuscaloosa whether you know it or not. What do you want to see against Rice?
Well, first, I want to reiterate what Jason said, since I'm going to the game as well with my 12-year-old son. Can we just get it done real fast? My mother-in-law is a Rice Owl graduate, teaches at the Rice Dental School. Like, y'all can cover the spread. You can do whatever you want. Just make it quick and painless. Don't be mean to the Rice Owls. They're the smart kids. Take care of them. Now, as far as the actual game, I want to see clean. I want to get a baseline for when we're about to get screwed in the Big 12 by the officials. I want to see our guys go out and don't do anything cheap. Don't grab and reach and do those things that kind of get you known for being a holding team and things of that nature that then the Big 12 will point to and be like, well, they had 13 penalties against Rice and those weren't even our officials. Like, I want a clean game. No false starts. No holdings. Do the job and win without having to resort to things that are going to look bad for us later. All
right, Chance Mock, what do you need to see against Rice?
Well, Beau tried to steal my thunder, but I won't let that happen.
How dare he?
How dare he? No, So this is a game Texas has to play against herself, right? And I don't care about the X's and O. I do want to see them come out and be aggressive. I want to see them throw the damn ball down the field. I want to see that Quinn Ewers can hit the deep pass in stride. I want to see that he's not throwing stuff out of bounds and throwing off that back foot. And to Beau's point, I want to see a clean game because clean games mean you're focused. Penalties happen when you're lazy. When you have lazy feet and you're not in position, that's when you get holding calls. When you're not ready for the snap, that's when you get holding calls. When you're not paying attention, that's when you jump off sides. That, to me, indicates a team that's not mentally prepared for the season they're about to go through, right? So I'm looking at it from that standpoint. Where is the mentality of this team? We know what's coming up. We know what's on that, and so do they. And they're talking about it. And it's okay to talk about it. But you also have to understand, you have to put on your hard hat, get your lunch pail, and be a workman in this game. And if this team can come in and play clean and play with intensity in a game that, I mean, look, at the end of the day, how many people would love the opportunity to run out on that field just for one game? We talk about it like it's just Rice. I get it. But how many people would love the opportunity to follow Bevo through the tee, through the smoke, into 100,000 screaming fans? It's incredible. And if you can't get up for that, you need to find something else to do. You know, I mean, Beamer, I thought it was one of the greatest things in South Carolina. He made his kids walk all the way to the very top section of that stadium. They didn't get to take the elevators. They walked. And he stood up there and he said, look at this field. How do you like this view? And everybody's like, man, these people are up here. And he goes, yeah. And these people work their asses off to pay for these tickets. They give their time. They come into town to watch you play. And if you can't find a way to get up for those people, you don't need to be here. And that's the way I look at the Rice game.
Yeah, it's big. And it's interesting. Earlier, somebody made a reference to Sark and Saban. We talked about that with the depth chart. I always think about that in terms of what you look for in a game, that standard that Nick Saban always talks about. Nick Saban's always ripping on his team when they're up 48-0. Always. Just look at him on the sideline when it's 35-0. Most of us turn that game off. Every once in a while, I'll peek in just to see what Nick's doing. He's pissed every time, because he wants that standard to be met. So it will be interesting to see just how dialed in Texas looks against Rice, because we're hearing a lot of great things about just the makeup of this team, the mindset, the connection of the team. Sark said it today. Just he likes his team. They feel like a team. We are a team is one of the last things he said when asked a question, what do you really like about them? And just the togetherness of it and the connection is what he brought up. It is the Outsiders before Texas plays Rice. Remember, we got two more for you. We got Wednesday night, a What Are You Drinking Wednesday at 9 o'clock. We got Thursday night at 9, getting you ready for the game, a little more breakdown, maybe looking into Rice a little bit and hoping that the weather is a little bit cooler than it's actually going to be. If you want to get in on the chats, you can certainly do that. Look at this. Look at the help that we're being provided. Chance, I'm just saying, Jason trying to help you out. El Tequeño, he's giving you like the phonetics.
I went with the phonetics that I watched because I watched videos of this tequila because it was so good that I literally went and watched videos on how the tequila is made. Because I would
tequila film study. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's dedication. Definitely dedication. Thank you for the chat and for those super chats tonight as well. It is the Outsiders. Before we wrap it up, and we're going to talk some more about a couple of our sponsors. We're going to talk a little more about this game and reiterate a couple things that happened today and things that are going to be going on this week. But first, our man Chris is going to tell you a little bit about the place they call Covert. What's up, Chris?
Covert Ford, 183. Come see us down there. Austin name since 1909. Kenny Covert right there on the showroom floor, my guy. We've got F-150s, Broncos, Expedition, Explorer. Come see us. Austin name, been around, again, 1909. We're at 183 in Duval, right next door to Rudy's Barbecue there. You can come on and get you some brisket and come over and buy a truck. Again, 345-4343 is our phone number. Again, come see us. Rudy's Barbecue right there next to 183 in Duval, Covert Ford.
Get you a truck and some barbecue. Sounds like a plan right there. That sounds like a good combo. Chance, here's one for you from one of our favorite fans ever, the legendary Chris Bennett. Besides you, who's your favorite number 5? CB says James Brown was his first favorite Longhorn. You got another number 5 that you're particular about?
I mean, Bijan and his Dijon are pretty damn good, but I would have to say JB was one of my favorites. It was my first experience in Austin, Texas. I was actually on the U.S. national baseball team, and we were practicing getting ready to go play in the World Baseball Classic for kids in Australia. And it was a blast, but we were practicing at the dish. And so every TV that they had a TV in the dugout tuned into this game with James Brown when he hit Derek Lewis on that long play. And it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. That was my first real experience in Austin. So I kind of fell in love with JB there. Part of the reason that I wore the face mask that I wore my freshman year was because that was what James Brown wore. So I have to stick with James. JB, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I'll say that.
Oh, he was smooth. There's no doubt about that. All right, gentlemen, we have us a super chat. We appreciate those super chats. JWall 321 super chat $9.99. My daughter is a junior at Rice, but I was at the game when Chance threw that bomb versus Tech. My daughter knows I bleed burnt orange, even if my Facebook profile has a picture of us in Rice gear. Hey, whatever you got to do, whatever you do, the kids will cause you to wear different gear. I understand that. If anybody's seen the picture of what I wore to the Harry Styles concert, I'll tell you, the kids will make you throw different gear on. I get it. But Jay Wall wants us to know that he or she is a Texas fan through and through. And also, our man CB says Rice has the most bland uniforms and helmet. Go back to the old winged helmet and uniform. You're darn right they should. This is the bad boy right here. This is what they need to be wearing. The Bird Emanuels, baby. That's what they need to wear right there. Absolutely, Chris Bennett. I don't know what Rice is doing. Can't have boring helmets.
They're overthinking it. That's what they do.
No, that's true. They're Rice. And also, we should mention with Rice coming to town, that means the mob's in town. Does the mob still get to be the mob in 2023? Or have we totally like PC'd them to death and woke them to death to where they can't have fun? Do we know?
I think that was one of the greatest bands in the entire world. And the funniest stories were when Rice band and the A&M band almost had a knockdown, drag out brawl. Oh, that was huge. I mean, that was big time.
I'm one of the few people that got to see both sides. When Rice would go to Kyle Field and make fun of Texas and then come to Austin and make fun of A&M, it was one of the best bits in college sports. And that was another reason I hated it, that A&M and Texas weren't playing, because they would both end up playing Rice, and Rice would play one against the other perfectly. It was so great.
The mob is fantastic.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Of course, like the mob is awesome. Like there's not the mob is what college sports is all about. Bands, pageantry, fun. I mean, now it's about TV deals and NIL, but getting rid of the mob is kind of indicative of what's happened to college football. It's professional sports.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're going to be there Saturday, so be there for halftime because the mob is, the mob is the mob. That's good stuff. Before we get out of here, let's give a little love to a couple sponsors, and then we will talk some more football here. But Beau, there's some folks out there that are trying to figure out the setup, the tailgate, the watch party, what's going on at the house. They might need an idea. They might have just moved to town, Beau. Give them an idea of where they should go to, I don't know, grab some grub for Texas Rice.
There's only one place for a tailgate. It's Stuffed Cajun Meat Market right there on 620, just off 183. Here's the links. They have a website you can go to for all your general needs. They have a tailgate menu, and then they have a specialty menu. And right now they're doing packages. So very easily, for $30, you can get an appetizer trio. It's your boudin balls, your Cajun fried okra with all the dipping sauces, fried shrimp tails, all kinds of stuff. They have a gumbo package, a Cajun buffet package. These are very affordable packages. Or if you really want to make your tailgate pop, you can get a quart of Casey's boudin dip or a gallon for $70. All you got to do, scan the QR code, go by, pick it up. They'll have it waiting for you. Make your tailgate the talk of the game.
All right, before we get out of here, we will mention Poncho Outdoors one more time, but we probably should make it 2 more times since Colt McCoy did get released today. We want to send a shout out to Colt. There's Colt camo right there for you. PonchoOutdoors.com. Check out all the great stuff. Wednesday for a What Are You Drinking Wednesday, I will be sporting the Del Rio with the secret pocket, that white one. Oh, that is a clean shirt. Colt's rocking your burnt orange there fishing. And yes, he may be fishing in Minnesota with all those lakes with Kirk Cousins. Who knows?
I figured it out, guys. The Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League.
Jason,
great fishing. Great fishing.
There's no need to make a CFL joke with Colt. What are you doing?
It's already been decided. He's going to Nashville. He's going to tighten up and get the job done.
You do realize Ryan Tannehill will scream and run out of it if McCoy walks in that room, right? He's going to remember what Case did to him that night. He's going to turn and run.
I mean, Colt's going to take a job with the NFL Network and go back to Nashville to do this, but it will freak Tannehill out if Colt walks in the room.
Oh, my God. He will lose his mind. Unbelievable. Thank you for scanning that QR code, and a shout-out to Poncho Outdoors. All right, so Texas and Rice coming up. What have we not hit, gentlemen? What else do we need to hit tonight? We got, we got a little less than 10 minutes. We talked about no depth chart. Doesn't sound like that's a big deal to you guys. We talked about the Colt thing, kind of what you're looking for the game. Jason, what do you got?
Let me give one more, and I know we already kind of went down this road, but whatever the script is, and I know some of you guys don't see it at all, whatever the script is to have Arch Manning in the game throwing passes on Saturday, I would like to see that. I don't know how, what sort of equation we got to get together to see that, but I want to see Arch Manning play on Saturday.
I think we all want to see that, unless that scenario you're talking about is Malik Murphy or Quinn Ewers getting injured. Like, yes, right. We all want the same outcome as far as Texas does their job, and the players like Malik and Arch and everyone else gets their backup time to go in there and perform. But if Arch is going to play, let's make sure it's under the right pretenses.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, Chris. As a fan, and you're the voice of the fans on this show, do you really think y'all are going to be able to watch Arch Manning throw a couple passes and take it the right way and not get too freaked out one way? Listen to Chance already shaking his head. Do you think you'll be able to take it the right way?
I don't think we see him, in all honesty. I don't. I think it's Malik. I think it's Quinn. I think it's Malik. And I think it's a lot of these new freshmen that are coming in. That's personally what I'd like to see. I'd like to see some of these freshman wide receivers. Maybe we get to that point. Some of this freshman running back. I'd like to see some of these young guys, new to the team, new to the uniform. That's what I'm excited about. But no, I don't think we see Arch. I just think that it could turn into a Malik second half, and hopefully it does. But I don't think we see Arch.
I think you're definitely Arch get some Gatorade and Charles Wright get some love. How about Charles Wright get in there as the third string? No injuries, no nothing. Just Charles Wright dropping to a knee to hand the ball to the ref.
Hey, maybe you get all 4 of them, which means you might be hanging 60 on Rice if you're doing that. If all 4 of those quarterbacks get a little time.
Well, here's what I think does need to happen is that college football doesn't have what the NFL has in the preseason. They don't get a chance for these rookies to come in and get some live action. I'd like to see some of these younger freshmen that haven't played. I want to see them out there early in meaningful snaps, not in snaps when the game is already wrapped up and in a bow and you're playing against the second and third team guy from Rice who, let's be honest, he'll be completely gassed himself. The momentum, get them out there when the game's on the line. Let's see how they react. It's Rice. They should be able to go out and perform. And if they're going to be playing in extended periods throughout the season, let's get that experience now.
Yeah, no, it's the game. It's the game where it can happen, and it's something that they're going to need. Plus, Chance with this blinding heat that they'll deal with in game 1, and we know Tuscaloosa ain't gonna be cold. Sark's talking about getting more guys out there in the first half and starting to rotate earlier in the game, so that feeds into it as well, right? That's what he's talking about doing all year long.
And I think he has to. That's part of the way that Texas was able to win. You heard Roy, and we made the joke that if NIL was around when we were playing, that the boosters would have run out of money. But it's true, and we played a lot. because that was the whole mentality was we're going to come punch you in our mouth with the first team. And then here we come with the second wave. And then here we come again with the third wave. And here comes the first team back out. So we're always playing fresh. We're always fresh. And you're sitting there because that's the difference in college football. Everybody's starting lineup is pretty good. Not great. Everybody's pretty good just because of the parity in college football. The state of Texas puts out 230, 240 Division I athletes a year. That's just the state of Texas. Then you add in Pennsylvania, Florida, California, those other hotbeds of recruits. There's the entire South. I mean, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana. That's a lot of kids coming out. So everybody has good frontline guys. What happens is they get worn down over time. Nebraska used to do it in the 90s. Hell, you go back to the 60s when they had no caps on scholarship. Darrell Royal used to give kids scholarship with no intention of ever playing them. They'd have 200 kids on scholarship just to keep them from going to A&M because he'd rather have them on his bench than playing against them. But that was the mentality, keep coming at them. So let's get these kids some reps. Let's get some depth, and let's see who can play.
That is Chance Mock, Jason Dick, Beau Edge, Chris Abbott, the Outsiders. We are just about to wrap things up. It is week 1, of course, for Texas, meaning, but, we're already into, what is this? This is week 3, technically, for the Outsiders, but it's our first full week with a Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday show. And also remember that morning show fired up this morning, and I got a message from Travis. They're going to be talking SEC in the morning. They're going to be talking Longhorns in the morning. Chris Gordy, who does SEC football stuff, host of Locked On, the SEC podcast, is going to be on with them 6:30 to 7:30 in the morning, the new show on Orangebloods Live. So you definitely want to check that out. All right, now we're closing in on 10 o'clock. Thanks to everybody for all of their texts and chats, the Specs chat line. I'm going to remember to say it every time. Sal in New York City was up late with us. It's a little later for Sal. Sal's rolling at almost 11 o'clock his time. Sal, we appreciate that. Before we get out, just a quick check on a Monday. Everybody give me that win total, regular season win total for the Longhorns. How much Kool-Aid are we drinking? Chris, you start. What's your number?
10.
He likes 10. Jason?
9.5.
Jason, oh, good Lord. He's putting a hook on it. Beau?
I'm gonna go 9 because I think we're gonna get at least 2 taken away from us in the course of the Big 12 with the referees. I was at 10. I've been at 10, and the more it builds on me with your Mark's comments, I see one getting stolen from us at some point. And by the way, shout out to my boy Razor in Boston. My 12-year-old son is going to Boston versus Houston tomorrow. First row, right above the Astros dugout, and he's still awake and chatting us on the chat line.
Nice. Look at that. Is that the young man I saw working on some lobster up there in Boston today?
Oh. Dude, that plate of lobster.
Dude, that was Beau's entire month's check worth of lobster on that table.
That looked incredible, man. That was so great. Chance, what's your number? You got them going to the playoffs, so you're at 10 or 11, right?
I don't have any choice but to go 11 because my beard is so glorious that I love my beard more than the Longhorns, and we've got to get to 11.
Remember, if the Longhorns don't make the playoff, Chance has to shave down to just the long relief pitcher mustache.
Oh.
We're gonna make him go lefty reliever mustache.
And that's 2 weeks, Chad. Before that's 2 weeks
Kirk
before
Cousins
I
has
had
it now?
Buffalo. Huh?
Hey, Chad, have you seen Kirk Cousins is sporting what Chance's punishment is now?
No, I haven't seen it. Is he doing it?
He's got the handles.
Oh,
Hey,
that's fantastic.
Y'all don't
y'all don't
cool
understand.
for the rest of time. If Kirk
Y'all
Cousins
don't
is doing
understand.
it,
This is a big deal for me. This is 2 weeks before I go. This would be determined, and I'd have to do this 2 weeks before I head to Buffalo to watch my Bills take on the Cowboys, and it's going to be about 2 degrees there, and not having facial hair and taking pictures with my shirt off in Highmark Stadium is going to look awful. So I need this.
Yeah, you do. You need the
Your
rest of
son-
that beard to protect you.
Chance's son just chatted at us, but it comes in as his name because I guess he's using his phone. So Cash Mock just texted, if his beer gets cut off, he's out of the house and I get the master bedroom.
That
But
is
it comes from him while he's talking.
That is
That's my son.
fantastic. Only Chance Mock is good enough to third person himself on Twitter before the show and then chat at himself during the show. That's high quality, Chance.
It's impressive.
I mean,
this is my son.
my
This is
goodness.
the life I live.
That is unreal. All right. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight on The Outsiders. Remember, we will be back on Wednesday night. And Blake, yeah, you knew it. I needed Colt fishing. There he is. Colt smiling in that picture. And right now he's smiling because he's going to find himself a real football team. Arizona Cardinals don't want to do nothing but lose and try to get a draft pick. Colt, you get out of there as fast as you can, son, and find you a fishing hole. PonchoOutdoors.com to get you one of those badass shirts like Colt loves. For everybody that was a part of it tonight, we will talk to you on Wednesday night for a What Are You Drinking Wednesday. So get your drink together and join us for The Outsiders on Wednesday night. And don't forget to get up early in the morning, 6:30 a.m. for everything that Orangebloods Live has for you. Why? Because it's game week. Let's go.